Hey guys, good evening. Sorry for the delay. System took time to load it. Yes, what did we do in the last class? So we are done with regularization, right? And also we did implementation as well. Okay. So today it's a time to discuss related to logistic regression. First algorithm related to classification. So far we have learned how to do a regression project. So now you can take any continuous data and you can do the cleaning process. Anyhow, it's going to be the same. Okay. So we'll start with logistic. Just a minute, let me share my screen. Today's class was visible, right? Okay, Usman joined. Okay. Okay, so let me share my screen. Yeah. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So today I'll be discussing about the very first algorithm that basically comes under a classification, which is logistic regression. Yeah. Tell me what is logistic regression, what you know related to logistic regression. We'll understand the basic stuff first. When I say logistic regression, first important thing, it comes under a supervised learning. So why we call it like supervised? It comes under a supervised learning because it requires both X and Y. Okay. And second important thing, it is a classification problem. So logistic regression is classification problem used to predict what?
Binary classification.
Okay. Not just binary. So let's say in general, like used to predict categories. Okay. So linear regression was used to predict the continuous target variable. So here it is used to predict the categories. So when I see predict categories, predicting like either yes, no, spam or no spam, diabetic or non-diabetic, churn or no churn, etc. Okay, whenever the data type of target variable is a categorical, in such case, usually we use a classification algorithm. Okay, this is a basic stuff. Unlike linear regression, it's not predicting continuous numbers, rather it is predicting categories. So when I say categories, so what is it going to predict? So usually like how will be the output of a logistic regression? Logistic regression prediction will always be either 0 or a 1. Either 0 or a 1. Okay. So this is the basic stuff. It comes under a supervised learning. It is used for classification in order to predict the categories such as like yes, no, spam or non-spam, diabetic, non-diabetic, churn, non-churn, cancerous, non-cancerous. So such things can be predicted. So usually the logistic regression output will be either 0 or a 1. So basically, when it comes to a logistic regression, it is used to predict the probability of a categorical outcome, such as like will customer buy a product or not? Is a mail spam or not the spam? Whether disease present or absent in a particular patient? Student pass or fail? Okay, so that's how the logistic regression basically works. So when somebody asks you like what is logistic regression, you can write a simple definition. So what is logistic regression? It's a supervised learning classification algorithm. In simple way, you can see logistic regression is supervised learning classification problem used to predict or I would say classification algorithm used to predict not just the categories, used to predict the probability of categories. Used to predict the probability of categories. Okay, such as like what kind of probabilities? So just checking like whether spam or not. Checking whether what is the probability that the person would be diabetic or a non-diabetic. Probability in the sense like a chance. Okay. What is the probability that person has diabetic or not? So these questions are basically answered with the help of a logistic regression. Is it clear so far? Now, how logistic regression is going to work? Hope the definition is clear. Now let's understand how logistic regression works. Any idea how it works? Let's say, for example, I have a data set. Okay. So in our data, I have marks, and then let's take number of hours studied, marks, and also the result. Number of hours studied, marks, and then finally result. So what is the target variable in this case? So let's say if somebody studies for 2 hours, marks will be 20 and it's a fail. If somebody study for 3 hours, let's say 23 and it's fail. If somebody studies for 7 hours, 60 and let's say pass. If someone study for 10 hours, let's say 85 and it's a pass. If somebody studies for 12 hours, 97 and we'll say pass. Let's say, for example, this is a data set. So, wherein number of hours studied is going to be x1 input, marks is also input, and result is target, which is a y. So, now my question is if I know the number of hours studied and the marks, I should be able to predict whether a student is pass or a fail. Okay, so we need to check whether student is pass or fail if ours is 9 hours and marks is 70. Okay, let's say this is our question. Anyhow, it's a simple data, we can easily make a prediction because we know that anything less than 30 or 35, usually we call it like fail, greater than 35, we call it like a pass. We can easily make a prediction being a human. Imagine when you have huge amount of data, in that case, like how do you make a prediction for different use cases? Any of this is a simple data, known things, we know the criteria, and accordingly we can do the classification whether a student pass or a fail, right? So now, how this logistic regression is going to work? You have x1 and x2 and you have your result, right? So very simple. So when it comes to how logistic regression works, it takes a data. So now what will happen? Your algorithm, your logistic regression algorithm, it uses linear regression Linear regression straight line concept to make up predictions. Okay, your logistic regression, even though it's a classification problem, it uses a straight line concept related to your linear regression, which is y equals m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus c. Or some people even use beta single as well. Or y equals, instead of c, it will be beta naught plus beta 1 x plus beta 2 x2. Like this. 1 and the c. It uses a linear regression concept to make a prediction. So when linear regression is used, that is a straight line concept is used with your classification data, what happens? Any idea what happens? Usually, how will be the predictions of your linear regression? We have used a linear regression concept and we have done a prediction. So, how will be the predictions of linear regression? First important thing, don't you think the predictions of linear regression will be continuous?
Yes.
So, predictions given by linear regression will be continuous. When I say continuous, it can be above 1, it can be less than 0, right? It can produce or it can predict values less than 0 and greater than 1. This is the story behind your linear regression when you apply it on a classification algorithm. You can build a straight line, you can make a predictions, but your predictions will be more than 0. Sorry, it will be more than 1. It can be less than 0. So now, when it comes to a classification, how should be the output?
0 or 1?
Yeah. So, but in classification, output should be either 0 or a 1. Hence, your linear regression fails, right? So, what to do now? So, how to overcome this? How to get our predictions either 0 or a 1 instead of getting continuous values? That's where we use one special function called as a sigmoid function. Hope you are getting. To,
Yes.
to overcome this issue, to overcome this issue, we use sigmoid function. Not we. Let's say logistic uses sigmoid function. So now tell me what is logistic. I mean, what is sigmoid function?
It's like compressing the value to nearest zero or one.
Hmm. Good. So now let's understand what exactly is sigmoid. I'll show a little bit of maths today. Try to understand. So when I say sigmoid function plays a very important role when it comes to a classification. It's one of the mathematical function which which transforms or converts one and the same. Okay, which transforms all the continuous predictions, all the continuous predictions given by a linear regression into a range of what? All the continuous predictions that has been done by your linear regression will be converted into a range of 0 to 1. That is basically a sigmoid function. Okay, and the sigmoid function is going to look something like this. We call it like HA of x, or some people call it like theta as well. HA of x equals 1 divided by 1 plus e power minus z. Do you know what is z? You know your z is beta naught plus beta 1x plus beta 2x. What is this? Straight line. Now, did you understand? You got an idea why classification problem is called as a regression? Since even though your logistic regression is a classification problem, it utilizes linear regression concept. But the predictions made by linear regression will be continuous. So to transform all those continuous values to a range of 0 to 1, we use a sigmoid function. So in the sigmoid function, the z is basically a straight line. Straight line in the sense it's a regression concept. Okay, and you know why it has got a name like a logistic? What is the opposite of exponential? How do you remove your exponential?
Log.
You take a log. Yes, that's the reason it has got a name like a logistic. Here, understood.
Yes.
Any questions? Clear? So now, still, sigmoid function is converting everything to a range of 0 to 1, right? So now, the expected output should be in a form of either 0 or a 1. I don't want to be within 0 to 1. So what to do for that? So we have a concept called as a decision boundary. And sigmoid curve is going to look something like this. Usually, when you apply a linear regression, your line goes like this. Let's see, this is 0 and this is 1. You'll get values less than 0 and above 1. So, what sigmoid will do? It just transforms like this. So, anything above 1 will be converted to 1, anything below 0 will be converted to 0. So, you'll get a S shaped curve. Okay. This is how the sigmoid curve is going to look like, S shape. All good. Any questions? So this was sigmoid, S shape. Okay, so now whatever values usually we get from a sigmoid will be within a range of 0 to 1, but we want just 0, 1, right? So for that, we'll be using a decision boundary. So what is decision boundary? We call it like a decision boundary or a threshold. Your wish, you can call with any names. So basically, what happens in this case, once all the values get transformed to a range of 0 to 1, so basically, what we do, we set a criteria. If your probability or like h of x value is greater than or equal to 0.5, okay, we classify it like a 1. Similarly, if h of x is less than 0.5, we classify it like a 0. We classify it like a 0. This is how the threshold is set. The standard threshold when it comes to a logistic regression. Got it. Understood. So for whatever I explained in a simple way, so first what it will do, first step, applies linear regression. Okay. You can use slope m or you can use a beta naught, your wish. This is the first step. It uses a regression line beta naught beta 1x plus beta 2, yeah, x1, x2 and so on beta n xn. Okay, first step. So obviously the values will be greater than 1 and it will be less than zeros. So to overcome that, then apply sigmoid function. So what will happen? So it uses a formula h of x equals. So it will be 1 by 1 plus e power minus z. You know what is z? Z is your beta naught beta 1x plus beta 2x2 and so on plus beta n xn. And then finally, set threshold. So how do you set a threshold? If h of x is greater than or equal to zero point 0.5, it becomes a 1. If h of x is less than zero point 0.5, it becomes a 0. Clear so far? That's it. This is how the logistic regression is going to work. Since it uses a straight line concept, it is called as a regression. Any questions so far? You can ask. First question people can ask: why logistic has regression, though it's a classification problem? You all might have this question, right? Even people can ask you this, though it's classification problem. Yeah. So what would be your answer?
Because uses this linear regression,
Hmm.
and then we are applying sigmoid and decision boundary to take our desired out. Something like that.
Exactly. So basically, it uses linear regression concept to make a prediction. Then it uses a sigmoid to perform a classification problem. Okay. So it uses linear regressions, straight line concept to make predictions. Then it uses a sigmoid function for performing a classification. Okay. Then uses sigmoid function to perform classification task. You know what happens? First, it converts everything to a range of 0 to 1 and sets a threshold. Hope you got it. You'll be able to answer this. Okay, so internal logic, it's a regression. Final, it will be classification. Next one. How do you prove this? People can ask you. Shall I show you like how to prove that, like why it's a regression, and also why is it called like a log?
Yes.
Okay. I'll use little bit of maths, not really complex, a very simple maths. So make sure you try to understand it. So I'll show you a proof. Sorry. Kind of proving. So we'll start with the probability. Okay, first step. How do you represent the probability of a positive class and a negative class? You know what should be the overall probability? Let's say you toss a coin. What is the probability of getting head and getting tail?
50-50.
So overall probability is
If
should be
it's a
one?
fake coin, yes.
Be one. Okay. So we'll say the probability of positive class is one. Sorry, yeah. P is used to represent a probability of a positive class. You know positive class in the sense usually we represent it with one, right? Okay. So what should be the probability of a negative class? How should we represent? Overall probability is a one. So how to get
Zero.
the no? Okay. Anyways, negative class is zero. How do you represent a probability? Overall probability is 1. So 1 minus probability of positive class will be the probability of negative class. Understood this? P stands for probability of a positive class. 1 minus P is for probability of negative class. So when you sum up, you should get the overall probability should be 1. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Then it uses a concept called as odd function. Any idea what is an odd function? So odd function in the sense it's like a the probability or a mathematical function. So basically it uses a formula something like this. So odds is equal to the probability of positive class divided by 1 minus probability of a negative class. Okay. So I'll represent it like z equals p divided by 1 minus p. We call it like an odd function. Probability of positive class divided by probability of a negative class. Okay. Just to know like what is the chance of getting positive class kind of thing. So then after you take an odd function, you have to take log on both the sides. Take log. So what will happen if I take a log? So it becomes a log of z. Let me use a small l. Yeah. Let's use log of z equals log of p divided by 1 minus p. You know what is z?
It is linear.
Yeah, z is beta naught. I'll take only two terms, beta naught plus beta 1x. I'm taking simple equation. Let's substitute it. Okay. So what will happen? I can take log like this. Now, anyhow, if I cancel it, will be the same expression only. Any function can be applied on both the sides. On cancelling, you get back the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's log of beta naught plus beta 1x is equal to log of p divided by 1 minus p. So what next? I want to apply exponential on both the sides. So what happens if I apply the exponential on both the sides? First we apply a log, then we need to apply the exponential. Hmm. Just a minute, I just want to reopen this. Yeah. Apply exponential. So what will happen if I apply the exponential? Just a minute. Actually, you're not supposed to take a log on both the sides. So odd is getting replaced with a z here, and we are taking log only for this. Take only for this. Yeah.
Can we take log for one side, or we can take log p by log 1 minute?
I'll
It
explain.
should cancel
Take
it.
log only one side. Okay. So log should be taken only for a p by 1 minus p. So now how is it looking like? Don't you think this left part is a regression part? And it's logistic. This is regression part, no? So that's the reason it has a concept like regression instead of a classification. So now for this equation, apply the exponential. What will happen if I apply the exponential? So it becomes like e to the power of beta naught plus beta 1x is equal to e to the power of log of p divided by 1 minus p. What will happen to e and log?
Will cancel each other.
They're opposite, no? It cancel out. So we'll be left with e power beta naught plus beta 1x is equal to p divided by 1 minus p. So now let's do the cross multiplication. Yeah, it will be 1 minus p into e power beta naught plus beta 1x, which is equal to p. Okay, so I'll just swap it. Before that, wait, let's multiply. So you'll get e power beta naught plus beta 1x minus p times e power beta naught plus beta 1x, which is equal to p. So we'll send all p terms together. So it will be e to the power of beta naught plus beta 1x. What will happen if I send minus p e to the power of beta naught plus beta 1x?
Us,
It becomes a plus here, which is equal to, it's already p there, plus p times e to the power of beta naught plus beta 1x. You know what is beta naught plus beta 1x, right? What is it?
A.
It's a z value, z value. We'll substitute so that expression becomes simple. So if you put z in the place, it will be e power z equals. So I can take p common. If I take p common, remaining will be 1 plus e power z. So now, so I'll keep p one side and it becomes e power z divided by 1 plus e power z. So what should I do now in order to get my sigmoid equation?
Take
Can
I
you
can
show me the sigmoid equation?
divide both numerator and denominator by e power z. Tell me what happens. So e power z by e power z will be 1 divided by 1 by e power z plus again e power z by e power z will be 1. What is 1 divided by e power z? It is 1 by x. It's x to the power of minus 1. So you got your equation. That's it. This is how you derive your sigmoid function. Same thing. Any questions you can ask.
will they ask us to solve this equation? No, right?
Sorry?
In the interview, will they ask us to solve the equation? No, right?
Wait a minute, just a minute. Tell me now.
In the interview, will they ask us to solve
Yeah,
this
yeah,
equation?
sometimes, sometimes.
While taking
Uh,
log, I got confused.
A log like you have to take it only one side, not both the sides.
No, if we can, at least log should cancel out. Equation
Mm.
not to
No,
take
no,
it.
no. We don't use that cancel out logic.
Okay.
So we take log only on a probability.
Okay.
Simple. Just take a odd equation, p by 1 minus p, apply log on your odd function, and your z is basically the straight line concept. You can see regression equals logarithm. So it's a logistic regression. Why it's called as a logistic? Because we are using a log. So to cancel out a log, we are using exponential. And then cross multiplication, combining p terms together, and finally we'll be reaching sigmoid function. Some good companies will ask this regarding derivation. All good. Any questions?
No.
Okay. So what next? So derivation is done. The next important thing is okay. So we'll discuss about the different types of logistic. Did I discuss about a loss function related to linear? I have not. I have, right? Cost function. Okay. So tell me what are the different types of classification algorithms? So types of classification in that the first one is going to be binary classification. So what is binary classification? What is binary? So if target column has two categories, we call it like a binary classification. Two categories in the sense, like either yes, no, positive, negative, diabetic or a non-diabetic, something like that. Okay, then this is the first one. Second one, we have multi-classification problem. So what is multi-classification? So if target column has more than two categories, you people can write a blogs and you can share with me. I'll publish it on my website, either on linear, logistic, anything you feel like interesting. You can write a blog. I'll publish on my website. Okay, if target column has more than two categories, we call it like a multi-classification example. What example we can give? So multiple classes such as let's say you want to classify something like low, medium, high, multiple labels. Okay, something like that. So let's say you have sentiment analysis, like sentiment, positive, negative, neutral. Students' grade prediction or language detection, something like that. Okay, so they are the examples of multi-classification. Understood? Now, next important one. How do you evaluate your classification algorithm? So previously in linear regression, we used to evaluate model based on error. But here, how do we evaluate? How do you see like how good is your classification model? So here, classification model is evaluated based on how many correct predictions and how many wrong predictions model has done. Okay, so evaluated based on correct predictions and wrong predictions. Wrong predictions. Okay, so we have a different metrics for that. We start with confusion matrix. Accuracy, precision, recall, FN score, and then finally you have AUC and ROC curve. So these are the six metrics used to evaluate your classification model. Any questions? All good? Shall I explain the metrics? Will it become too much if I explain it? Okay, no worries. Just go through whatever I did today. So metrics and implementation we'll do in the next class. Okay. No questions? All good? Okay then.
Okay, thank you. All good from my
Yeah.
side.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.